Hello and welcome to Breaking Down Bad Books, a podcast analysing trashy bestsellers from a literary perspective. Following my breakdown of Stephenie Meyer's Twilight, I'll be digging deep into the raunchy Twilight fanfic turned erotic romance, 50 Shades of Grey. Although I'm not sure romance is the best word to use. Join me every Monday and Friday for chapter-by-chapter analysis of the book that Salman Rushdie said made Twilight look like War and Peace. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, or visit breakingdownbadbooks.com for all the listen links and contact information. I have a feeling that it's going to get awkward, but let's get through this together. Happy reading!
This is where the gaslighting gets really good.
My nickname around these parts is Dead Weight.
I hadn't been considering scissor.
I'm prepared to travel in time.
We were deep into an Adam Sandler rabbit hole on this podcast. How did that happen? A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett.
And hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
So we're here, and it's really cool because the movie that we're talking about, trilogy. I guess, what would you call it? Winter?
You had cut out there just a little bit. I said, I believe what you're saying is this is part of a trilogy.
Yes. Oh, so the movie that we're talking about today is what is the third part of a trilogy. And believe it or not, Hallmark actually pulled it off. Don't you think?
I do, yeah.
Yeah? Did we watch the other two movies?
We did.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think I might remember a movie about people being in a lodge. So I guess that's it. Plus now the guy's bald. He wasn't bald before, right?
No. In fact, when I looked up the movie is One Perfect Wedding from Hallmark, and when I looked it up, and like Google fills in the search results, it put One Perfect Wedding, why is the guy bald? Like that was one of the top searched items.
And I was going to read that article because I like to keep up on current events. So what was the story? Why was he bald? What's going on here?
But what I saw is that it was a COVID haircut. That's what they're saying.
Okay.
But the thing is, this is one of my complaints about Hallmark movies. And I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but a lot of the guys in the Hallmark movies have hair pieces. And you can tell that they're hair pieces.
You've mentioned that before. I feel like that's only the older men. The older, like the sort of more esteemed, been around the block soap actors that they get in these movies. They'll have them wearing a piece, but I don't think I've seen it with the guys. But maybe I just don't recognize.
I thought we've noticed.
Because I mean, was this guy? So first of all, the guy with his head shaved, he's very attractive. I think he's more attractive now than the other movies.
I feel about the same.
And so I wonder if that meant that he was wearing a hairpiece in the other movies.
Maybe. I don't remember him too vividly from the other movies. And if I'm being completely honest, the white couple at the center of these movies isn't as interesting to me to watch just from an acting and just sort of like magnetism perspective as the black couple in the movie.
Right. But
yeah, see, I vaguely remember this. The lodge, they had like and weren't they? Yeah, and like and they were friends, and their friends got together.
Right. The first one was One Winter Weekend, and the premise of that one was these two female best friends are going away on a ski trip because one of them has to take some photos for something, and one's gonna write her book, and then they accidentally get double booked with these two guys that booked the same cabin.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And because I remember we definitely watched the second one because that was one of the movies that at the end the woman didn't give up her job to stay with the guy.
Yeah.
Because he was a doctor.
Yeah, because the second one centered more on the other couple. Or at least they carried, equal weight in the movie. It was a little bit more about them getting together.
Well, I'll tell you. I've had a lot of medication this last year, and I think the medication, as far as my memory, it ate the parts of my memory that was about those two movies. It specifically obliterated those.
I don't think either. Like, I don't remember us hating on either movie. I don't remember them being particularly memorable either, though.
Well, I gotta say, this one out of all three was actually the best one.
I agree, and I have a theory as to why. Would you
Okay.
like to hear it? Well, what we have always complained about with specifically the Hallmark movies more than anything is that there often aren't a lot of stakes. And not that there were stakes in this movie, but because we've seen these characters for a while now and we know a little bit about their backstory, and this movie wasn't just spinning his wheels to play the same beats of Hallmark movies, we actually got to know the characters a little bit and actually invest in them as people a little bit. So it made the whole exercise more enjoyable.
And they had a deadline, which was like a deadline, which was a realistic deadline as far as we got to get this done and we got to get this done now or else.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what was unusual too is they were together in the beginning. I mean, both couples were together in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
usually we don't see that.
Yeah, there was no fake obstacles in terms of, oh, we're gonna have some stupid fight in the third act of the movie so that we can only make up and fall in love. Like, we didn't even have to go through that.
Right. And I learned that I am not the only one who crosses my sevens. Because I cross my sevens.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Which plays into which becomes an important part of the movie.
Weirdly, a plot point.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, well, before we get started, do we have any Angela Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Well, I couldn't find any current Blac Chyna news, but I started thinking about how has Blac Chyna dealt with the pandemic in the last year. And that led me to finding an article from a year ago from dailymail.co.uk, a reliable source. And this was an exclusive they released that said that Blac Chyna refuses to go without her glam squad during the coronavirus lockdown, as she's seen arguing and crying on the phone after leaving a bank. Blac Chyna has refused to go without her glam squad during the coronavirus lockdown in LA and is having her beauty entourage quarantine with her, dailymail.com has learned. The 31-year-old model and entrepreneur was spotted out and about on Tuesday, accompanied by two men who work for her Lashed Cosmetics line, both wearing Lash logo shirts. While the rest of us can't get to our regular beauty appointments thanks to the economic shutdown, Chyna was flaunting some impressive pink stiletto nails, a source told dailymail.com. She's got this quarantine thing right, locked down with beauty experts. The mother of two is making a quick trip to a bank near her $3 million Woodland Hills, California home. But when she emerged from the building, she was crying and arguing with someone on the phone. The day before, Chyna was slammed online for charging fans $950 for a video chat on FaceTime with her and $250 for a follow back on Instagram, even offering 4 interest-free installments for those who can't afford to pay it all up front.
Pay with Klarna.
This is from a year ago. Okay, so Chyna was seen on Tuesday morning dressed in a Defy Sporting Goods anti-rip romper and a Lumi luxury Chanel-inspired rabbit fur fanny pack. She had to wait her turn outside the bank due to mandatory social distancing rules, sitting on a curb as she waited to enter, photos show. Abiding by Los Angeles County orders, she had to put on a mask before entering the building. Despite seeming fine before entering the bank, when she left, she was arguing loudly with someone on her iPhone. She even had tears coming down her face, the source said. They added, whoever Chyna was yelling over the phone as she left the bank was getting an earful. She may be small, but she is fierce. On Monday, fans were outraged when details of Chyna's new money-making venture emerged on her website, and they didn't hold back on the comments section of her Instagram. Who TF you think you is trying to charge these naive folks for a follow back? Came one comment. Is you going broke? $250 for a follow back. TF wrong with you, one person wrote. Also on Monday, this is a year ago, it was reported that her ex, Rob Kardashian, and father of a 3-year-old daughter, Dream, filed court papers in which she claimed she threatened him with a gun on multiple occasions when they were together. So that's actually like half the article. We could stop there. That's a good end point.
Well,
we could have ended about 5 paragraphs
was this before OnlyFans?
No. Well, did I mention OnlyFans there?
No, I think if I recall, because I remember us doing this story back then. If I recall, I've heard elements of this because they always recap 5 other stories to fill out one story.
Right.
I feel like this is around the time that celebrities started getting on OnlyFans, because that wasn't really a celebrity thing for a while.
Okay.
Right. Because that's why I was asking. That's why I was asking, because they didn't mention OnlyFans, and now
it was before
to today, where she is one of the top earners on OnlyFans.
It was the simpler time.
It's a throwback, definitely. It's a throwback, and we get to see the evolution of Blac Chyna. And like I said, also we can see how she's been dealing in the her quarantine for the last year, pandemic, and
in about eight years or so, people are going to open up the time capsule of this podcast, and they're going to listen to this. They're going to be like, "This is back like when MySpace had the top 8."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now get this.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
So I am on Clubhouse, which is the new social media thing, and Jason's on it now as well because I invited him.
I'm not, because I have an Android.
Blac Chyna is a big fixture on Clubhouse. And what Clubhouse is basically they're different topics. You can host a room. I host a room myself about the Bravo channel, but anybody can host a room. And Blac Chyna hosts rooms about being an entrepreneur. And, I've actually gone to a couple. They aren't bad.
Have you asked questions?
I have not. Blac Chyna's rooms are normally like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
I'd still raise my hand less. You gotta try.
And also, I always stop by Blac Chyna's room when I'm on my way to another room. So normally I have to leave.
Okay.
But she gives a lot of entrepreneurial rooms, which when you think about it, I would listen to her. Obviously, she's doing something right.
Yeah, we can't stop talking about her.
You need to raise your hand less and ask her to be on the podcast.
I absolutely. Well, no, that's my goal. My goal, and I've told you guys this, my goal is to meet Blac Chyna on Clubhouse. That is my goal. That is my goal for the rest of the year.
Yeah, we need to have her come on the show. I've been doing her news reports. I don't even know how long.
Right. And it's Blac Chyna, we speak favorably of you. We like you. We always say good things. So I'm the only journalist nationwide who only covers Blac Chyna. I don't cover any other news story.
I don't know that is true. I don't know that it's not true, but I don't know that is necessarily true. There might be others. I think that's a very, very bold claim to make, Kurt.
Well, I would say it's even if there are others, it's got to be a narrow group of people.
Well, and we always speak favorably of Blac Chyna.
We do.
Always. So no, that is my goal for the rest of 2021 is to meet Blac Chyna on Clubhouse.
Okay.
And I will step it up. My other goal is to meet her and get her on this show.
Yes.
And we would have a Blac Chyna centric episode.
100%. We can do whatever she wants. We don't have to talk about a movie, or we could.
Right. We would have to get her, I think, to watch a Lifetime movie, though. I don't think she'd watch a Hallmark.
I would love to know her opinion on a Hallmark movie, though. I really, truly would.
Actually, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. They should put her in a Hallmark movie.
100%.
Well, I mean, it's so funny that you mentioned that, because after talking to Nina Weinman, a few episodes ago, I've been like more observant about the movies, because as she talked about how they were really trying to change. And during this movie, I noticed that I guess this weekend there's going to be a Latin themed movie, and they were heavily promoting it.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yeah. The guy in the movie is really cute too. I was like, oh,
yeah,
hello.
he really is.
Yeah.
He really is.
I see the Irish one. They had commercials for the Irish one where there's like a speed dating and
the guy from Downton Abbey.
Is the actress, was that Joanna Garcia? I think it was. I love her.
I don't know who that is.
She looks a little bit like Amy Adams.
Oh, I like Amy Adams.
But yeah, and it's the guy from Downton Abbey.
I wonder if now Nina is a writer of these Hallmark movies. I wonder if she has any not casting. She can't casting approval, but I wonder if she has any like casting input.
I doubt it.
Like a wish list.
I doubt it, unless she's a producer on them as well. I don't think that's how it works. At least not with these movies. Because she even said, like with the pandemic last year, she normally likes to go on set to be there the first week, but the fact that she says she normally likes to, that doesn't mean she gets to. Like if she had enough input to be giving casting notes, then she probably would have had to have been there on set.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if she at least gets to kind of hint.
Well, based on things she's told us before, I get the impression that a lot of times, like when it's the bigger names, like the of the Hallmark world, like the Danica McKellars and stuff, that usually the network has the actor or actress attached, and then they put the writer to like shape the project based on that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely, if I was in her position, I would definitely try to push some actors. I'd try to get like Eric Estrada and Pia Zadora as the leads.
I would cast me as Bink what's his name? Bink Williams, not Bink Jackson. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you would be in the movie.
Right.
All kinds of stuff. I don't know. I'd make it an epic. It'd be like a cast of thousands.
Right. Or Jackee would be in every movie.
Oh my god.
Jackee could be in it.
Yeah.
Anybody brings up, I would just say yes to.
Right. Well, shall we start talking about this movie? Okay, you guys, I need a favor.
Okay.
So I watched the very beginning of the movie one day and wrote it in one notebook. And then I watched after the first 10 minutes, I started up again today, but I can't find my first notebook with the very, very beginning.
Okay.
So can you guys talk about the very beginning? And I will start chiming in when they get to the part where they have 10 days to plan a wedding.
Okay. So every Hallmark movie essentially.
Okay. I don't know where that is. That could be anywhere. Okay. I guess it's 10 days before the end.
Yeah.
Well, I could begin if you'd like. I have some notes here.
Go for it.
Well, the film is called One Perfect Wedding. But were they being ironic with the title?
Well, the first movie was called this, and I actually thought the title of this was dumb because it didn't match the naming scheme of the others, because the first one was One Winter Weekend, then it was One Winter Proposal. Why wouldn't this be One Winter Wedding?
Unless there was already a Hallmark movie with Winter Wedding in the
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
Okay, so we begin in Seattle. And a woman is walking down the street. She's the lead woman. Her name is Kara. And she looks into a window and she sees the book that she wrote and it's called "The Girl Who Lost Her Path."
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
So that's the name of her. That's the name of her book that she wrote. That's exciting. And then we go to a TV studio.
Well, so she's on the phone with her agent Renee, and they're discussing some European book tour that she's going to need to go on real soon.
Okay, yeah, because she could be an international bestseller.
Yeah.
Right.
So then we go to a TV studio, and a man is being interviewed. This is the guy we're talking about with a bald head now.
Yeah, newly bald Ben.
Ben. Yeah, he's got a newly bald head.
Ben.
Very disconcerting to the audience at home. And he's being interviewed about he's being interviewed about selling snowboards, right?
Yeah. And
He's a
from
snowboarding guy.
which one of the other movies that was a big plot point is his snowboard company. Don't you remember, Kurt? That was the movie where he and Kara like got together. It's because she suggested putting a ponytail hole in the helmet.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do kind of remember that. Yeah. Did that work?
It did in the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I do kind of remember that. Yeah, I think I was mocking that. Yes. Well, that'll teach me. What comes around goes around. I can't remember it. Okay, so here we go. So this man is interviewing the snowboarding guy, but then the show ends. Not the movie, but the show that they're filming, the talk show ends, and then the interview guy is talking to a snowboarding guy, which is Ben, and he's saying, well, I guess you're not going to get married or something. You're having cold feet. You've been delaying the wedding, and the woman is like standing right behind them. She hears what they're saying, but the wedding is still on.
Yeah, because he was talking in the interview about how he's going to be building a new factory in Asia and how he has to go live over there for a little bit.
Yes.
Right.
We got some diversity here. The guy who's interviewing is an Asian man. Mm-hmm. There you go. Kudos. Okay, so now we're outside. Apparently it was raining that day when they had to shoot because they're walking with an umbrella. And the couple, this is Ben and Kara, and they're talking about that Kara's got to go on a European tour and Ben's got to go somewhere else.
Japan, right?
Yeah,
He's got to go to Japan.
Build his factory.
He's got to build his factory. So Ben said he can't wait any longer. He just can't wait. They got to get married now.
Yeah.
And I think they should slow down.
But this has been going this is actually very slow for a Hallmark movie because in the universe of these movies, they met 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, that's like she's like an old maid on Hallmark movies.
I don't know what their relationship is here.
They're already
one
engaged.
Point in this movie. What's that?
They're already engaged. They got engaged in the last movie.
Well, it's a little weird because later on in the movie, they're not sharing. I don't think they're sharing a room in this hotel later on. He changes his shirt and won't change his shirt in front of her. He has to go in the bathroom to change his shirt.
But in true the new Hallmark fashion, they do have the door open while he's doing it, and we do get like a slight glimpse of shirtlessness.
Yeah. You get a little like peep show kind of thing, yeah.
And also what I liked about these movies is one of the movies had Ben and the other guy, Sean, both shirtless in a sauna together. Remember that, Les?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
All right. So then it's nighttime. Now this is when we see their friend, Kara's friend, Megan. They've been friends from childhood. Now where are they now? They're inside somewhere. Anyway, they're doing like a FaceTime with Sean. Now I assume Sean must have had COVID. The actor had COVID or something.
That's what I was thinking too. Because at first I was like, I was wondering, well, is he American? And so is he American and not able to go over the border?
That's what
so
I
they
thought
did
it was.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I thought it was
But
that.
he's not.
He's not American?
No, I pulled a Kurt Fitzpatrick and looked it up, and no, he's Canadian.
It's also possible he was off somewhere working on something else.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and like in between shooting shots of the other of some other movie, because he filmed all his stuff was just was shown on a phone or on a computer.
He was not as integral part of the movie had he been face to face in scenes, but he had a major part of the movie that clearly had to be tailored to the fact that he couldn't be there.
But the cool thing is that it's actually very current. It's very current to talk to someone on, because of the times that we're in. It's very current to talk to someone like on Zoom or whatever. So it actually fit right in and worked.
I actually thought when the movie first started, I thought, oh, he's going to show up eventually.
I did too.
Never. I didn't. I thought this is the way it's going to be. I could do a movie like that. If someone wants to hire me to be in a movie, I don't have to go anywhere. Just stay home. I like that.
I mean, let's be honest. We would do the movie even if we did have to go somewhere.
Yeah, if I had to go there, and anything I had to do, but just making it easier and easier.
Yeah.
There's plenty of movies where I'm not there at all. So, I mean,
because you weren't cast in them.
I'm not in them at all, and that's the easiest thing.
Yeah, I was not in Citizen Kane. It just didn't happen.
No. The movie Nomadland, not there at all.
I feel like movie credits should just list who's not in the movie.
No. I'm in the return. I'm in the trial of Chicago 7. I was an extra, so there you go. And we just won a SAG Cast Award. I was gonna say that to the end of the show, but
look at you, Kurt! You're in like award-winning films.
Yeah, I won a SAG Award.
Do you get to share in that win? I mean, technically, you are in the it's the background cast, but it's still the cast of that movie, and that is a SAG Award. Like it's for members of the guild, so I think technically you could share in that win. I'm putting that on the resume, Kurt. If I were you.
All right. This is great. I'm glad I brought this up now. I was going to share it I was going to save it till the end. I could bring it up again at the end if we'd like. Anyway, so that's what happens there. So they're talking to Sean on their phone or one of those contraptions that the kids have these days, like an Etch-a-Sketch. All right. So then Kara walks in and she announces she's getting married. So that's exciting. But they're going to get married at a courthouse.
Yeah, they're going to elope the next day.
Yeah, they're going to elope at the courthouse. So then the ladies get their outfits on, and Kara thinks she's afraid they may be rushing things. She has a lot of doubts.
Right.
I noticed. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure if this couple was going to work.
Well, that was my only real beef with this movie is that they were still trying to throw in that like unnecessary obstacle to get the couple together. Like, oh, she's starting to question whether or not he's being secretive with her the entire movie.
And that annoyed me too, because it's like, you know what, dummy? Maybe he's planning a surprise for you, idiot.
Also, like,
secretive.
It's not like this couple was one to like truly keep stuff from each other. Just ask him, like, hey, I'm feeling a little uneasy. Can we talk here?
And why is he keeping stuff? Look, I'm no Dr. Joyce Brothers, but are
you sure?
Kind of questions. Well,
he was keeping it for a good reason. It was just the fact that he wasn't sure if it was even going to work out. So that's why he was keeping it quiet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but even I will say
not his relationship, what he was keeping, the secret.
The secret he was keeping though was a really dumb thing to keep a secret from your partner. Because ultimately,
especially when
like if you're getting married, that's going to affect your partner's finances. It's going to affect your availability. It's going to affect a lot of things that she should have been privy to as he was going down this path.
I agree. We'll find out what that is later in the show. But yes, kind of dumb. That's a problem. Yeah, as she kept saying, he's being secretive. He gives secrets. Secrets. All right, so then next thing you know, this couple, Ben and Kara, they're all decked out and they're walking down the street. They're headed to the courthouse. And their friend Megan, they dragged her along. She's taking pictures. Anything she can do for them, they accept. She's doing it. And then her dad calls. So Kara's dad calls. And Kara hasn't even told her dad all there is secrets and lies and horrifying things are going on. And so they just decide. Oh, sorry. So they just decide.
Was that Kara's dad calling you?
Yes, that was him calling. He wanted to know what else is being kept from him.
Yeah.
By the way, did he have a hairpiece on? He has something going on.
He might have.
Just for men. He had just for men or something.
Yeah.
Just for dad. And so they decide at that moment, look, we have to wait. This is a mess. This is a disaster. We have to wait to get married. Because I can't answer the phone and tell Dad, hey, Dad, I'm headed to get married. You're not going to walk me down the aisle. So go F yourself. But she wouldn't say F. She'd actually say the word.
In a Hallmark movie, she would.
Well, it would be kind of like off camera. Like you would know. You would know. You would know it was said.
I would love it if a Hallmark movie just shocked us one day and just had an F-bomb, like the bleep. Because sometimes when you're watching TV and they allow the F-bomb, but they bleep it, like on a scripted show, it's more shocking than if they would just allow the word to cut through.
Right.
Yeah, they should do that. Yeah. A lot of ladies in the Midwest would have a heart attack that night.
Yeah.
There's been a... Okay. So... What happens next? Okay, so then Ben is playing chess with Sean, and Sean's the guy you never see, and Sean is on the computer screen, but they've got actual chess boards set up. So that's where I asked, does he have COVID? We went through that. So now here they are at night. They're in Seattle. Ben and Kara are having pizza, and they're talking about her book. And fans are clamoring for the third book in her trilogy. Now, is that some kind of reference, a little like a slight veiled reference to the fact that this in itself is a trilogy?
Yeah, like a wink, wink, nudge.
I don't even think that's veiled. I think they're hitting us over the head with the Hallmark crown.
Being hit on the head?
Yeah.
Very heavy-handed, yeah. And he thinks secrets keep things exciting. But as we said, yeah, but not when it affects the finances of your partner. You dummy. Then the agent and Kara are having lunch. And she's come up with a name for her new book. It's called The Girl Who Slipped Away. And the agent is such a fool. She buys it hook, line, and sinker.
The whole thing with the agent bothered me a little bit, and I don't know a lot about the publishing world, but I would think that if you're the agent of the author, even though you want to make as much money as possible and get the author more work or whatever, like you're not going to be the one pushing your client to like, hey, write something quick. I think it's going to be the publisher that's pushing for that. I think the publisher would be like, hey, we want another bestseller, make us some money.
Because this agent was like, get to work now.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't care if you're getting married. I'd like to add, it was an Asian agent. Mm-hmm. just to point out the diversity, an Asian agent.
Yeah,
I like that.
Or an agent.
An agent.
And just so we don't get hate mail, I am half Asian. I'm the one that said that.
Well, people would send hate mail if they saw my notes, because sometimes I don't know these people's names. So I just write, sometimes her character, before I know her name was Kara, I just call her White. And Asian and White are having lunch. They're having lunch. And then their black friends walk in. And then
you should write children's books, Kurt.
Yeah, Asian and white and black were. This is what I name these people.
Don't cancel us. I'm black. Don't cancel
No.
Les is black. I'm half white, half Asian. Les and I are both gay. Like there's a lot going on diversity wise.
Well, I'm white. But I did Ancestry.com, for my mom, and she's 1% Jewish. So I got that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we found out. So anyway, we have a lot of diversity going on here. Now we're in his business. Yeah. What's that?
I said kudos us.
Oh yeah.
It was a weird thing. We were sort of congratulating ourselves on just existing in the way that we do.
Okay, so then we're in his place of business. So the place is called Charmed. I don't know what they sell. Is this?
It was a snowboard company. Yeah.
Okay, and by the way, so Charmed is actually turns out to be a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and I'll tell you when later.
Oh. Was there a TV show called Charmed? Is that where you're going with this?
Yes, it was about 3 sexy witches.
And there's a revival on now, isn't there?
Yes. So the reboot.
Shannon Doherty?
So the first Charmed was about 3 sexy witches: Alyssa Milano, Shannon Doherty, and who played Piper?
Was that Rose McGowan or was that?
No, Rose McGowan was the replacement.
Oh.
So what happened?
Holly Marie Combs, because it was Phoebe, Prue, and Piper, and then what happened is when Shannon Doherty got fired, one of the sisters left, so Prue left, and she was replaced by their unknown sister that they didn't know that they had, Paige.
Oh.
Yeah.
But now Charmed has been rebooted with 3 sexy Latina witches. And so now their names are Maggie. So I think it's like Megan, Maggie, and Melanie.
I am pretty sure if this is the show I'm thinking of, I'm pretty sure I know the creators of the reboot because if it's Amy Raridan and Jessica O'Toole, I was in improv class with them years ago at the Groundlings. Like, you know, level 1 Groundlings, and like we were friendly at the time. I went to see some play that they were in, and I remember going to a party at their apartment. And I think that one of their roommates or something had worked on that talk show that Carney Wilson hosted.
Oh, geez.
And they had a promotional item from the talk show. It was a Carney Wilson boogie board.
Oh.
You know, those like, but it was like cardboard, but it was like a cardboard cut out of a boogie board with a giant Carney Wilson head on it.
Boogie board. So there's something you could actually take into the water?
Yeah. It's like a half a surfboard essentially. But you basically you paddle.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I know it.
But it was just it was like it was just such a bizarre image. What's that?
What does that have to do with Carney Wilson?
Nothing.
Like,
that's why it was so weird.
That's weird.
And I just looked it up, and Jason, you are right. Jessica O'Toole and Amy Raridan.
Okay.
Wow. That improv class was like a Hollywood hotbed.
Seriously.
I've met so many people over the years from doing improv, like, you know, at different levels of my study and, you know, different levels of theirs as well. But I've had class with a lot of people that have gone on to bigger things. Not me.
Well, yes, you have. You're doing this show.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
You're doing the show.
But you know what? Somewhere out there, somebody's telling their friends, "Oh, my friend Jason hosts this podcast."
It's a podcast. I took UCB class. I took UCB class with Alison Becker. She was one of the talking heads in Action Park documentary.
I love that documentary.
Well, she was in it. And she's in like TV. I see her in stuff sometimes. She's like Curb Your Enthusiasm and Parks.
Jason, have you seen Class Action Park?
I started watching it. I actually got bored.
Or Class Action.
I got bored because they only had like 3 talking heads, and I'm like, well, I mean, I remember watching the commercials for this place and hearing the news stories about it growing up, so I was already aware of the sort of history behind it. For those that don't know, it's a documentary on HBO Max about this theme park it's in New Jersey, right, Kurt? Yeah, called Action Park. And the movie is called Class Action Park because basically the park didn't really worry so much about like safety regulations, and people were always getting like hurt and killed. It was like almost a joke how often it was happening there. And so this documentary is talking about how just unbelievably unsafe this place was.
And people would go anyway.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was these people would come from New York, like kids that come like from the Bronx and stuff, and they didn't know how to swim. They would go to this water park and they'd almost drown. A couple of them did.
Yeah, I watched
never
that
went there. Yeah,
Kate Casey told me to watch it, so that's why I watched it.
I never went there because if you watch the documentary, you notice there aren't any families there. It's just like overrun by like teenagers. So it wasn't something. Well, the other thing was I didn't grow up in North Jersey. I grew up in South Jersey, so I wasn't even aware of it. But I was thinking I wouldn't have gone there as a kid. Maybe it would have scared me, but I wouldn't have gone there with a family. As like a teenager, I think like my friends and I, we would have caused some real damage to that place.
I remember I would see the commercials, but there was a water park near me. There was Dorney Park in Wildwater Kingdom, and so I had a season pass to Wildwater, and looking at Action Park, it looked fairly similar to what Wildwater was. I'm like, why do I need to drive all the way there? I've got Wildwater like 10 minutes away.
Right. Jason, did you ever go to the Jersey Shore? Like, did you go to Wildwood?
I've never been to Wildwood. I've been to Atlantic City, and I've been to Ocean City, New Jersey. My parents were big on like going to the beach, so like anytime I went, it was with like other family members or other friends. Like I never went with my own family there.
Okay. Let's go to Wildwood, New Jersey. Anyway, so here we are. So let's see. So yes, talking about that trilogy. Oh yeah, we have The Agent. We did that. The Girl Who Slipped Away is a new book. Oh, then we're in the charm business. That's where we left off. So now we see Ben. He's there. It's his own business, and this cute intern came up. And my first idea, the first thing came to my head was, oh, there could be possible sexual tension between him and this intern, but that completely ended immediately. Because we found out she was his little sister. And I thought, of course it's his little sister. If that wasn't his sister, there'd be trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
At least there'd be trouble in my mind.
Was
Zoe.
she in either of the other movies last, or is this a new character?
No, she was not.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And then she explained it away by saying, oh, that was when I was in college.
Yeah.
So sexual tension was obliterated. Yeah. Okay. I have here the white woman calls the lodge because I still wasn't sure what her name was. Her name is Kara. Yeah. So Kara calls this lodge, but she can't rent the chalet. What's a chalet? That's like a suite?
No, like a
cabin. Yeah. Like a nice cabin.
Fancy cabin.
Obviously, I never rented a chalet. All right. So chalet. She can't rent the chalet, but that's because she wanted to rent a special chalet, I guess, where they had stayed before.
Yeah.
But that's because her fiance, Ben, had gone ahead and rented it himself. Now, if he had been honest and just told her, it would have saved her some time and she wouldn't have to be calling the chalet herself. Or, they would end up like, she could have ended up renting another chalet and then they put down a deposit and they all would have been screwed.
Yeah.
Right.
These people didn't seem to be that concerned with overpaying for anything, though.
Ben's
a horror movie.
Well,
no,
they both are.
Yeah, but if you don't manage your money well, you're up the creek.
Yeah.
Ben owns Ben owns a factory. So apparently.
And Kara's a best-selling author.
Right.
Listen, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister had a lot of hit songs, but he was flat broke after a while. You can't mismanage your money.
Did Dee Snider do the MC Hammer thing where he built like an obscene house with like a bowling alley and stuff?
I don't know, but he was working he had to take a job like putting flyers on people's cars after he was like already a rock star. I mean, you got to manage your money. So
would you say, Kurt, what would you say if I'm Dee Snider and you're with a group of friends and I'm trying to hand you a flyer, what would your response be as I am trying to hand you a flyer to you and your friends,
I'd say,
a group of you?
I say, we're not going to take it.
Thank you. No, we ain't going to take it.
No, I was, talk about in the tradition of heavy-handed.
I was like, I hope he knows I'm setting him up. I'm hitting him really hard.
We all know. All right, so then something happens. Oh, so then he's rented her fiance has rented the place, and she wished that. She even says I wish that the both of us had thought of this, not just you. In other words, she's saying, I wish I was as smart as you. No, she wasn't saying that. Okay. So then she calls her friend, Megan, and she asks her to plan the wedding because she's okay with taking advantage of Megan any way possible.
Megan's very type A.
weddings. Yeah. She puts Megan to work.
Well, Megan, it's explained in this movie, and I think in the previous movies, that Megan is very type A. She's very organized. Right. She works at a wedding magazine. Like that literally is her job. Is she deals with like, you know, all of the fine details of a wedding and like what's trending right now. So she knows that world.
Right.
Yeah, she's getting paid in exposure. Yeah. Now, when you say type A. When you say type A, what exactly does that mean?
Alpha.
Like, yeah, very alpha, very take charge, very I'll do it myself because I know I'm the only one that can do it right.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. Would a type A person not be considered collaborative?
No. Or if they did, they would tell you what to do.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, then we have the two ladies are putting. This is kind of weird. Oh no, hold on. She also asked Megan to be the maid of honor. So more work for Megan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Megan was wearing some fierce pants in this scene, by the way. So like tight leather pants. They were
Black
sexy. Yeah.
Pants,
it was like it was a step up for Hallmark. It was like, oh damn, Megan.
Right.
Well, they put Zoe in some tight jeans. She was about, you know. It was some scene in this movie. So anyway, then Kara's in deep regret that she asked Megan to help because Megan starts doing some weird. You're talking about witches earlier. She starts like putting like tree branches together. Like she probably forgot that she had to get wedding stuff. And on like the walk out the driveway to her house, she like grabs some tree branches and she starts like putting them in a circle. I don't even know what she was doing.
Oh, because they were picking out. Because this is where my notes start. Yeah, they were picking out like decorations. Yeah. So she's like, did you want pine cones or did you want like green?
Because Megan's trying to say like, hey, you're doing this at like this ski lodge and like flowers aren't like normal flowers aren't really in. Greens are the new flowers.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's weird. I wrote, this is weird. And, and they're going to snowboards, fondue. Is fondue made a comeback? Because that was big in the 70s.
I think no. In the second movie, there was a thing about fondue.
Okay.
Like,
there was. That's right. There was a fondue tasting, if I recall.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
man.
I'm surprised you. Kurt, of all details, you should remember that one.
Well, I there's like a chocolate fondue thing. Yeah.
Kurt, it's a dessert reference.
There's a place around Union Square in New York. They've got chocolate fondue. I can't remember the name of it, but it exists. Anyway. Did you want to take over, Les, or
no? You're doing a good job.
Continue with this. Yeah, this is fun. This is fun. So anyway, here we go. So that happens. So I says this is 70s. So now we're back at this workplace. We're back at Charmed,
right?
And here I wrote Bald and Sister. This is what I
Bald and Sister.
Isn't that a TNT crime drama?
Well, at least it's not. I'm not talking about race or ethnicity. Now I'm just Bald and Sister. I did put Zoe on top of Sister when I found her name.
It took me about half the movie to realize her name was Zoe. I didn't know her name either.
It took a little while, yeah. And then he asks her to be his best woman, which I've never heard of before. But then again, I haven't really left the house very much in the last year and a half.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard
instead
that.
of best man, she's the best woman.
Yeah, because Sean can't do it because he's on Zoom.
We find out that their dad is no longer with us.
I see dead people.
Right. It's the end. And she'll look at dresses. She immediately gets to leave her job as intern because she works for her brother and she can do whatever she wants.
Right.
It doesn't matter. She'll still get. She essentially gets college credit now for looking at wedding dresses. And boy, do we. Well, now we're looking at dresses. The three ladies and the dresses have weird names. The dresses have like princess names. One's named Bella. One's named Delilah. I don't know who Princess Delilah is, but it's somebody. And then she talks about Kara talks about how she'd like to make decisions as a couple.
Well,
the things that she wants. the things that she wants in a relationship, she's really nailing down.
Yeah.
She'll tell us about 3 or 4 or 5 times.
This scene was pretty wild for Hallmark too, because they have the women sort of side by side in the dressing rooms, and they're showing them like as they're dressing, and like you see shoulder.
I saw that.
Yes.
I saw that. Yeah, that was exciting.
It was scandalous for Hallmark.
They're like, welcome to the 21st century.
Yeah.
That was okay. Yeah.
We're showing clavicle now.
I know. That was scintillating. Now they're packing and planning. Packing and planning with the two ladies, Kara and Megan. They've got all these pine cones.
Oh, you missed a very important detail, Kurt.
Oh, did I miss something?
At the so after they're trying on their dresses, because they're like, they've got all these things to do, and like Megan's barking orders and stuff. Kara, they both they find the dresses that they love right away, so that Kara, as she and Megan are getting back into their normal clothes, she hands Zoe the credit card. She's like, hey, go get the Aria and Moonstone and the Adele and Moonflower. And so Zoe goes to the front and she's like, yeah, I'd like the Aria and Moonflower and Adele and Moonstone. So she screwed up the dress and the corresponding color that they wanted.
Yes.
Well, you get what you paid for.
Yes.
But there should have been a salesperson there to help them.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that happen. But I did know that we see the mistake that she made later on.
Well, also you have to wonder, because they were gonna get the seamstress or this whoever's doing the sewing and doing the measurement and stuff. Wouldn't they have to like write down some notes of like, oh yeah, that purple dress, we're gonna need this size bust, this size waist, this length, all that. They'd have to have it documented in some other place other than their sales receipt.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you would think. Strange situation. They're packing and planning now. Two ladies are pine cones. Megan went outside and shook a tree. She goes, I'm all set. Pine cones were going to be like put on everybody's table. Everybody's going to sit at the table and have a pine cone, which probably has like squirrel feces in it and stuff like that. Like now,
more people are eating.
The place where they're going to eat, and it's like that's where they're going to put the placeholder. Like
right.
Great. I given these people $100 gift, and I got pine cone.
No, I've probably touched hundreds of pine cones in my life, and it never dawned on me until now that there might be squirrel feces on it, and now that's all I'm going to be able to think of around the holidays when I see a wreath.
It's dirty. You can't take things from outside and put it on pieces of your furniture. It's dirty. But some people say that about a cat. A cat's dirty. I say they lick themselves. Pine cones don't lick themselves.
Couldn't it be argued that most furniture is made from stuff that's taken from outside?
Everything's filthy when you think about it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. So, okay. So I got I wrote dresses are being express mailed. Okay, that's a good point. I said this costs money. Mm-hmm. It costs money to do stuff like that. All right, and then Megan gives Kara a best friend bracelet because it's like something old, something used, something damaged, something abused. So she gives her something something old, and it's like
that's a terrible wedding tradition.
Huh?
That's a terrible wedding tradition. I'm giving you something abused.
Yeah, something abused. Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
This is I'm not gonna get into it, but
here's a piece of rotten fruit that I threw across the room. It's all beat up. I don't need it anymore. Congrats on your wedding.
Enjoy this. So she gives her like a best friend bracelet, which probably belonged to her, to begin with. I meant to give this to you back in summer camp, but here you go. So she gives her that, and that's really exciting. We never see that again. And then we go to the Snowy Lodge, which kind of made me wonder, what, did I miss something?
It wasn't a major detail, but it was a little detail that I found very funny. Was as they're doing the little exchange, Kara had come in the room, and like Megan is like typing this big long thing. You see like this huge paragraph on the screen that she's typing, and we find out that she's creating her out of office reply. Like
Yes.
she had like a manifesto to say like, hey, I'm unavailable, refer to my coworker.
Right. She's probably barking orders on the out of office reply too.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen one of those in a long time.
It was like the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah. So now we're in a snowy lodge, which made me wonder what time of the year was this, and where are these people now? I guess maybe this was established in past movies, but when they're in Seattle, does it seem like it's winter?
They're not in Seattle. They go outside the city to like a ski resort. Because they were within driving distance to Seattle, as we'll find out from another detail later in the movie. But they're a little bit outside the city somewhere.
Yeah.
So they go north, presumably, where it's a bit colder.
Probably.
Right.
And a rarity.
Oh, go ahead.
A rarity in Hallmark movies. It was actually real snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You couldn't see their breath, so it wasn't that cold, but definitely snow. They weren't producing fake snow there. I was curious where they were because I didn't know it was winter, and then all of a sudden it's winter. So I was like, did they just fly to Alaska? But no, they didn't.
Well, they also mentioned that like when they were getting up there, that it was actually a very good snow season, and they actually had snow a little later into the season. They said something along those lines.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a cover up. So now Megan is pessimistic about her relationship with Sean. What's her issue with that? I forget. But anyway,
because
so then
he's like overseas and she doesn't get to talk to him.
She never gets to see him. Yeah. So then there's a guy who there's more diversity because they hired an unattractive gentleman who plays
That's diversity.
Daniel. That's good. That's good. He needs work too. He needs to get his health insurance as well.
Oh, when you said he needs work, I thought you were implying he should get like plastic surgery.
Well, he needs no, not that kind of work. But he is going to be getting health insurance for this. I don't think health insurance will cover plastic surgery, but he looks fine. All right, so
I didn't find you're talking about the front desk guy.
Yeah.
He was dorky cute. I found him attractive enough.
Because he just looked disheveled more than everything
Yeah,
else.
he was like was put
he's
upon.
Not traditionally.
Yeah.
He's what?
He wasn't a Hallmark leading man, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But he was like perpetually put upon.
Yeah. Like he was disheveled and stressed.
Right. He's not Hallmark attractive, but he's attractive in his own way, which is good. Yeah. He's got a quirky essence to him. So anyway, I didn't figure out his name for a long time. It's Daniel. He's like the stressed out lodge guy. I think I called him Lodge Guy.
Look, if Daniel Lodge Guy is listening to our podcast, I'd hit it.
Listen.
There, I said
it. Yeah?
There, yeah.
All right, well, put that out there. Okay.
He may not feel mutually. I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
There you go, Daniel.
Not bad. Daniel. See, it didn't sound like it wasn't starting out well, but it's ended well for you.
Yeah.
Jake shot Jason at.
Right. You never know what's going to happen on this show. So then, what does Daniel do? So he's walking them around. I lost my space here. Oh yeah. So where am I? Oh. That's what Les says. Oh, and then I'm trying to find where we are. Oh, yeah, here we are. So anyway, so they meet Daniel, and he takes them all around, takes them to all the suites, and then this is the part where Megan does the out of office email, and then I'm surprised because the couple are in separate suites.
I'm not surprised because it's Hallmark.
Right. Let's not get crazy.
And also, they are trying to. Part of the reason of doing it at this chalet was that's where they were stuck together. The first movie is that Megan and Kara were in one room, and Sean and Ben were in the other.
I know couples who were having sex, and then they decided they're going to get married, and so they decided to stop having sex for a while, a period of time, before they get married. So I guess it's like their honeymoon is something special. And I think that's dumb.
That's very dumb.
I personally agree that it's dumb. I understand why couples do it, but the whole concept of like, oh, we want to be pure for the wedding. It's like, well, you weren't pure up until now. What's one day?
Right.
And also, who defines pure? Do what you
Or
want.
as Wendy Williams says, he's already seen your O face.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Well, we could talk about that a little later, but anyway, so then what happens next? Megan feels like, okay, so where are we now? Oh, yeah, so except for ski. Another skiing. Do people ski? Because these people are on snowboards. Do people still ski? With like the...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Because these people weren't skiing. They were on snowboards. They were snowboarding.
Snowboarding's legit, too, though.
Snowboarding's legit, and the whole, like, one of the big plot points of these movies is the guy owned a snowboarding company, so they're not going to show them skiing.
Not going to ski. Okay.
Yeah.
So the two ladies are snowboarding, and it's snowing. I think it was legit snowing. Looked like it was. I don't think somebody was dropping. Later on in the movie, you see snow coming from outside the windows. That wasn't real.
There was one scene where it looked like fake snow, but every other time it was snowing, it looked real in this movie.
Yeah. And Megan feels like a piece of her is missing when Sean isn't there. A piece of her. So that happens. So now I have the couple is in the lodge lobby. And what happens here? He helps. What did I write? So Ben's thing is he helps these snow camp kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a snow camp. He's helping these kids. I guess it's like, kids who need help. So they get this, which is smart for his business. That's a nice thing.
Yeah. Well, it was a plot point in one of the other movies.
Oh, okay. Wasn't? Jeez. I don't remember the snow
Yeah,
camp.
like as all these things were being revealed, I was like, oh, I kind of remember that. Oh, I kind of remember that.
Man, I remembered nothing about this. I kind of remember the black couple, but I don't remember the white couple.
That's what I said. Yeah.
That's what you said too?
Yeah, I said that at the beginning of the podcast.
Okay. I don't remember the beginning of this podcast. All right, that's a good sign.
Kurt, do you have any Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
Well, that I do remember. So then Ben talks to his sister Zoe, and Zoe's very sensitive. She thinks she offended Megan. I don't remember why, but there's some reason. She said something to
Megan, or Zoe was getting to know Megan a little bit, and she was asking like, "Oh, are you and Sean going to get married soon?" It was very innocent.
Oh,
right. And I don't even think Megan was offended.
No, she wasn't.
No. Zoe's very, but I've known people like that. Well, is that person mad at me? Is that person upset? So that's how Zoe is.
Yeah.
She's gonna act together. So then the ladies are talking to the Daniel, the lodge guy. And he tells her, and so they're take a look at where they're going to have this wedding party or the pre-wedding party. And he tells her there's going to be a piano player, and this piano player is a bit of a character. Look out.
Named Goldie.
Goldie's going to have a wild streak. Yep. Whenever I hear a bit of a character, I know it's going to be another layer of a boring character.
Also, they said that and to set her up, and she wasn't really. She was an important character to the plot of the movie, but was she a character?
No, and she never is. And I have seen this before, where they're like, "Oh, this person, like Uncle Joe, is going to be here." Remember, there was one of these movies where it's like Uncle Joe is going to be here, and oh boy, he's a bit of a bit of a something. He's a bit of a character, and Uncle Joe is not interesting at all.
But like,
right. I mean, there was like.
Sometimes they'll say that, and they'll at least like try and make the person wacky, even if they're really not, and they're still kind of boring. But this character she didn't even have any quirks, did she?
No, but who she was? This is the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. She was Grandma from Charmed.
Oh.
And so Grandma, so basically, the grandma would come and visit them from the dead, and they're like, "Grandma's coming," and she'd go and like have a little vacation from the afterlife and visit them.
Hey, if you're cast as a dead person, you're You're getting up there in years.
I don't think that's the naming of the snowboard company Charmed was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because that had its name in the first movie.
Oh, did?
Unless Goldie signed on to the one winter wedding or whatever cinematic universe several years ago.
Because that was like, oh my God, that's Graham from Charmed.
They had a holding deal with Goldie.
Goldie, by the way, looked a lot like, I actually looked it up. I was like, is that Diane Lane? I mean, Diane Ladd?
No.
She did look like Diane.
I genuinely thought it was Diane Ladd at first.
Wait, now I just confused Diane Lane and Diane Ladd.
Right,
Diane?
Diane Ladd is Laura Dern's mom, or no, not Laura Dern.
Yeah,
no.
Laura Dern's mom.
Okay.
Yeah, it is Laura Dern's
Oh, is
mom.
it?
Laura Dern's mom.
Yeah.
So she looks like an older Laura Dern.
Oh no. Who was in Wild at Heart with Laura Dern? That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, Diane Lane was
Diane Ladd also played Flo in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, the movie that was the inspiration for the sitcom Alice.
Alice.
Oh,
So Diane Ladd was the original. Diane Ladd was the original.
The Alice show.
She
For
was
the year?
after Flo left. They had Diane Ladd on as a new character because obviously she couldn't be Flo.
So she was Belle.
Okay. Flo. Yeah.
But after Flo left, the show went downhill. Kiss my grits.
Yeah.
Kiss My Grits, but Flo's show didn't take off.
No, it did
No.
not. It's
Doesn't
sort of
work
like
that way.
the Ropers. You know, they gave the Ropers a spinoff, and then it didn't do that well, and Norman Fell and Audra Lindley were out of a job.
Right.
They weren't happy about that either.
It was no Jeffersons.
No, and I don't think Norman Fell was happy.
The Jeffersons did well.
Yeah, no, Norman Fell was no dummy. Yeah,
Florida did well too on Good Times because she was a spinoff of Maude.
Yep.
Good times.
Which was a spinoff of All in the Family.
Maude did well.
This is a tricky situation here because you don't know. It might work. It might not work. I don't know. I would stick with the tried and true. If I was on some hit show, I'd say keep me on.
Or I would do what Jackee did. So this is what Jackee did. Take notes, people. So they offered Jackee her spinoff.
Let me get my
Remember
pen.
Jackee's spinoff that you watched, Jason?
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast here.
So Jackee had it in her contract that if her spinoff didn't work out, they would allow her to come back to 227.
Yeah.
Smart.
And her spinoff didn't work, and she came back.
The Roper, Norman Fell and Audra Lindley had it written in their contracts as well. But the show, I think the Ropers lasted long enough because I think it got maybe a season and a half. So it was out in the ether long enough where Three's Company had to move on and they hired Don Knotts, and then he was so wildly popular that they couldn't really bring the Ropers back full time.
Right.
Yeah. And then you have Joan and you have Joni and Chachi. Their show.
They came back.
They came back.
They came back to Happy Days. Yeah.
They came back.
And I tell you, tough industry there. We know.
Right.
You don't know. You don't know whether to do the spinoff. I would just stick with the show.
I think the way they do spin-offs a lot more now is the smarter way to do it. They just write a new character in who's very peripheral that can be spun off just as a way of extending the franchise as opposed to writing it around that character. The only time they write it around that character is if the original show's coming to an end and they want to keep that train going.
Right.
It's worth it if you're like what they did with Cheers, where it was like Carla's ex-husband, Mr.
Right. The
Tortellis,
Tortellis.
whatever his name was.
The Tortellis.
So he got his own show. Yeah, Tortelli. So Tortellis, they got their own show, which lasted like 4 episodes. But he wasn't like a main character anyway. So
right,
that works out. But it didn't work out. So, where are we at now? Okay. So I got lost. Okay, so now they went to a library. There's a library with there's some studious people around. This is where I got a little lost. I just had no interest in this backstory of I don't know.
Max and Clara.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole storyline was stupid. It was dumb.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the Overlook Hotel once again, a Shining reference where it's like the caretaker. Anyway, we can go on and on with that. So anyway, they're looking at old photos, and the lodge founder's marriage may not have worked out. That's what I wrote. That's exciting. See, at the Overlook Hotel, there's more interesting things. The caretaker.
I did find it surprising that it was a pretty central theme of this movie was that they believed that this couple that founded the hotel, their marriage didn't work out, and they kept talking about it like it had ended. Yeah, that's big for Hallmark.
And for Hallmark, I was like, wow, because they really didn't let it go.
Yeah, I couldn't retain that. I couldn't hold that in my head even while I was watching it. So that's a problem. Now Zoe wants to help, and she's trying to help Megan, and Megan doubts her crafting skills. She kind of quizzes her, like she's trying to do some crafting, and Megan's like, "Well, how experienced are you in crafting? Do you have a degree?" I had a temp job one time. This woman calls me for a temp job, and it's like she was reading off a script. She goes, "Do you consider yourself creative?" I'm like, well, obviously you don't. It sounds like you're reading from a script, and put a little inflection into that. So that's what this reminded me of. So it got me angry.
I like that you're giving feedback to the interviewer.
I don't even know what I said. I said, oh, yeah. And the temp job was I was wrapping gifts. They wanted me to wrap.
You had to be creative for that.
I had to, it was a creative thing to wrap gifts.
Okay.
I wasn't wrapping the gifts right. I went did the job, and they stopped me from wrapping. You're not wrapping the gifts right. Anyway, we go on and on. It takes about a year. So anyway, it's a sad story. So anyway, so Megan says, "Look, I'm trying to put gold on pine cones.
I got to cover up the squirrel feces somehow."
Yeah. Can you put some gold on these filthy pine cones? And Zoe says, "Oh yeah, when I was in my sorority, that's all I did was put gold on pine cones." That's what sororities are all about.
Sorority that would be.
Yeah, maybe that was like the Rush Week. That was a torture.
Right.
I hope it was that and not like a regular practice.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Unless, of course, the chain Michaels would like to advertise on our podcast, then I love everything about crafting.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
So she says, yeah, I have experience putting gold on pine cones, which kind of makes me wonder, would Megan have the patience to actually teach her? But, no, she wouldn't.
Megan will find it easier to do herself.
Megan was not messing around.
Either you know how to do it or you don't.
Because Megan didn't want Zoe doing any more of the table place cards, because Megan had started them and she didn't want the calligraphy to look different on the other card.
Well, when we think about it, though, Zoe did really fuck up.
She did.
Oh yeah,
she absolutely did. But in fairness, it was more than just her fuck up, because it's something that could have been fixed had other people not fucked off too.
Sure.
Yeah, people got to get their act together.
Yeah.
Collectively. It's never one person's fault, except when it is. Mm-hmm. So now we meet Goldie, and boy, is she a character. She's such a character. She reads books.
Yeah.
Woo, that's wacky.
She's reading. She's reading Death. Oh, yeah. She's reading Death on the Nile.
Oh.
Agatha Christie book. Yeah. And anyway, so she meets Kara, and she says, "Oh, well, Death on the Nile, it's about a man who keeps secrets."
And a villainess.
Yeah.
Just like, there's a villainess.
I love the word villainess.
Yeah. I would be going to see that, because they made, you know how they redid Murder on the Orient Express a couple of years ago? And Kenneth Branagh directed it. So they filmed the Death on the Nile with another all-star cast directed by Kenneth Branagh. And they're trying to figure out if they're going to be able to release it, not because of COVID, but because of the fact that Armie Hammer is in the cast and they don't know how to market the thing.
Oh.
Oh, I read about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Well, I forgot that was Death on the Nile. But yeah, I did read about Army
Who
Hammer.
knew that Army Hammer would become box office poison?
Oh,
Oh God, another rabbit hole. But this is going to be a 6-hour episode.
Yeah.
But I don't quite get the issue of Army Hammer, except that so I started reading that he had these weird like fantasies. And I was like, well, if you have weird fantasies, okay, that's that. But then he was getting accused of different things by
Right. There are allegations out there that are pretty serious.
Yeah,
I think that's part of it.
Just broadly, I believe they're sexually aggressive.
Yeah,
and abused, and not like physically abusive during sex, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's how I understand it. At least I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, I wonder if people still watching The Lone Ranger with Army Hammer as the Lone Ranger and Johnny Depp as Tonto.
Right.
Oh boy, I don't think people were watching when it came out.
Well, look, I'm going to say something that I have said. I don't think I've said it on this podcast, but I've said it to my friends a lot over the years. When Call Me By Your Name came out and everyone was raving about it, I didn't like it.
I hated that movie. I thought it was a boring piece of shit.
Thank you. And I thought Army Hammer was super miscast in it.
Yes, he was too old.
And like the part of the problem with the casting of that movie is his character is supposed to be 28. I think he might have been like 35 or 36 at the time, which wouldn't be a big deal if the fact that Timothée Chalamet actually does look 17. Like, so now you've got a guy that looks 36 and supposed to be 28 who's getting with this kid who is playing 17. So he's it's technically sexual assault. He's a minor, or the character's a minor. There's no actual chemistry between them. I didn't find Army Hammer believable as a gay guy for a second.
Nope. I hated that movie so much, and people would look at me like I was crazy.
Thank you.
I like the movie, I have to say.
You would have thought, like in West Hollywood, you would have thought that I said that I like to run over old ladies the way people look at me, like just in disgust. Yeah. I hated that movie.
I hate in general as a gay man that I'm supposed to like anything just because there's elements of gay cinema that I'm just supposed to appreciate because it's about gay people. Like Brokeback Mountain. Brokeback Mountain was fucking boring.
So boring. I hated that too. Let's be honest. Some of these gay-themed movies that we're supposed to like are some of the worst, most boring movies out there.
Yes.
All right. Well, I seem to enjoy these movies. What other gay movies are out there that I like? These gay movies. Did you see that movie Weekend? Did you see that one? That was a gay themed. Yeah, that was about two dudes.
I don't know that one.
Weekend.
No? Yeah, and I like that movie. There's a movie called Weekend.
My favorite gay movie, and I'm sure Les will agree, is called Sean Cody.
Never heard of it.
It's a gay porn site.
Sean Cody. What is it? I have to look that up. I'm afraid to look it up.
Don't look it up, Kurt.
No. All right.
It's just gay porn. There's nothing. There's nothing.
Your parents' house. Don't look it up.
Yeah. Look at it. That's fine.
It's movie called, well, look up Weekend. It's a very good movie. I get maybe you guys wouldn't like it because I liked it anyway. Randy Quaid was in Brokeback Mountain. Okay, so here we are. So now, Death on the Nile, boy. So now we're outside, and Zoe finished the pine cones. Good on you, Zoe. The dresses won't be ready until tomorrow, so Zoe offers to drive and pick them up. She's got nothing to do. I can't believe that Megan was about ready to hop in her car, and she's got a lot to do already.
Well, Megan's like, let's not get crazy. I don't feel like driving for hours.
No, she's like, you do it, Zoe. You do it.
Also, like, as much money as they were spending on these dresses, and this place is supposed to have them done sooner, get a fucking messenger.
Right. Postmates.
Yeah.
Yeah, do something. Get that
Postmates
stuff
does
overnight.
stuff like that. They deliver stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And one time I had to go pick up a pregnancy test. Okay, so this is what happened. So first I get a call to bring in like some orange juice and some bagels to Park La Brea. And so I go to Park La Brea and this girl answers and she looks like really hungover, just like wrecked. And it's like these two girls, right? And you could tell that they had just had a night the night before. Like 3 hours later, I get another call to go to Park La Brea to pick up this pregnant, like to go to CVS and pick up a pregnancy test. And I went back to deliver the pregnancy test and it was to the same girls.
Oh no, jeez, that was quite a night.
And then
Park La Brea.
9 months later, I had to go pick up this woman and take her to
Right.
the hospital because she was in labor.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's a cottage industry. Yeah, I was driving Uber 9 months later to pick her up. I'm trying to think of other gay-themed movies. Did you guys like Long Time Companion? Did you enjoy
That
that?
I did like.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
That I did like. And I liked It's a Sin. I liked It's a Sin.
It's a Sin's fucking amazing.
I don't know what It's a Sin is.
It's a show
It's
on
an
HBO
HBO
Max.
But
Oh, it's a
it
new-
was a good movie. It was good acting and well written.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some scenes in that movie that are going to be done in monologue classes for years.
Okay, I should see that one. Okay.
And so Longtime Companion, Jason, is basically like It's a Sin, but it was actually made like in the early
Like
90s.
during that time, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was really good too.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I think Campbell Scott is in that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
who's in it? Bruce Davison. I think he was nominated for an Oscar for that movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are. So now, okay, so ladies talk, and Kara sees Ben talking to that lodge guy. They're having some kind of conversation about something.
Daniel.
Secretive Daniel conversation. Then Kara's dad arrives. We mentioned him before because he said maybe he had some kind of hairpiece or something was going on there.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
Just for men, or I don't know. And then we find out that the mom is dead.
I see dead people.
Yeah.
She's just dead. So she's not. So she doesn't have to go to the wedding. That's the advantage of being dead. You don't have to go to weddings like this anymore.
You don't have to go to weddings
So-
anymore.
So in that sense, don't be afraid of death because there's some advantages. All right, I'm trying to keep moving. This is like running. I have like three more pages of notes. All right, so now we're at the pre-wedding party, and there's a couple, the piano player. Goldie's going crazy on the piano. She's like Little Richard.
I felt horribly. Now
golly, Miss Molly.
that
Friend of mine
would
was in
have
the
been
post office.
amazing if Goldie were like in some cape and like playing the piano with her foot. Now that I would get on board with. Yeah, she's a character.
A friend of mine was in a post office in LA, and he turned around and Little Richard was behind him standing in line. He was dressed in all the full Little Richard regalia, the whole outfit.
Wow.
Good golly, Miss Molly. So Megan's mom arrives, and
Michelle.
and has she been in anything else? Have we seen her on a soap opera or anything?
I recognized her.
Yeah, she was pretty cool, and before she arrives though, I heard there's like a little chit chat, like the main actors having little non-essential chit chat, but I found it essential. They're talking about the cheese.
Yeah.
The cheese.
She asked Daniel what kind of cheese did he have. Megan asked Daniel what kind of cheese did he have, and Daniel's answer was not up to snuff.
Oh yeah, Megan
No.
didn't like his answer and then demanded to speak to the chef.
Yeah.
Cheese. The man has speak to the chef.
I
cheese chef.
I felt bad for Daniel because I felt like he was the only person that actually worked at the hotel. Like before they got there, he's the one answering the phone. He's the one showing them to their rooms. He's the one working as their, wedding planner from inside.
Yeah.
Like and he's cleaning the place and hanging pictures and shit.
Jesus. No wonder that guy looked like he was in rough shape. No, he didn't. He looked
See?
fine.
Yeah.
No wonder he doesn't look Hallmark. He looked like you wouldn't look Hallmark pretty either. But as the kid in Minari said, I'm not pretty. I'm good looking.
Yeah. There you go.
So anyway, here we go. So Mega's mom hosts a radio show, and that's pretty much the end, and we hear about that. Mm-hmm. And there's a fake snow.
Well, they mention that detail so that later on they can justify making her officiate the wedding and be the wedding DJ.
Be the DJ.
I'll tell you what, you do that to me. I'm not giving you a wedding gift. I show up and you give me a job, I'm taking away the wedding. I think. I probably wouldn't, but I should. All right, so that Goldie is such a character. She read Kara's books. She knows what she's up to. She reads, and then what's this? Ben's talking to the lodge guy again, and he wants to know about these people that are planning on buying the resort because Ben is apparently has deep pockets and is going to buy this resort, which I think would worth some cash.
He's trying to save Camp Snow. He's trying to save his charity.
Yeah. So anyway, then they're snowboarding. A couple, Ben and Kara, they're out doing their thing, and then Ben tells Kara that he was once a camper there. He used to participating in Camp Snow, and she wants him to open up more and stop with these secrets. Any chance she gets, she's complaining. He has secrets. He keeps these secrets. Secrets. So then, Goldie's getting more and more into the movie. It's becoming more. It's more Goldie's movie as we watch it. Mm-hmm. And Goldie and Kara are looking at these old pictures on the wall, which that's another job for Daniel. He's like framing old stuff. He's like a what do you call it? He's like an archivist.
Well, he's taken it upon himself to like archive these photos. Which it's weird to me that stuff was laying around and hadn't been hanging in the hotel. If it has this history that everyone's sort of interested in, why wasn't that stuff hung up before?
Yeah, it's like he's looking for things to do. Like he can't rest for 5 seconds.
Well, he went to Camp Snow, but in a different way.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, he's probably like a drug addict, and he's got to fill his time.
Yeah.
God. Oh man. So then
that Goldie, she's the character. Yeah.
That Goldie, she's the character. Yeah.
Let me go try some cheese.
All right. What is he was once a kid? Somebody else. Oh no, I said that. All right. So now look at the pictures. And as Kara's basing her character on these people. So she's writing her new novel. She can't come up with anything. So she's just going to rip off the idea of these people who used to own the lodge, which is a bad idea because I had no interest in what these people were doing years ago. So now we find out that Kara's dad was a detective, which could lead – talk about spinoffs. Uh-huh. He's a retired detective. There could be there could be a spinoff of him and his exciting cases. Right. His work for that actor.
He could be in those Lacey Chabert movies where she solves mysteries through crosswords. Is that Lacey?
Yeah, the crossword.
Oh yeah. He could be her sidekick in that.
Yeah, there's no reason.
Crossword and hairpiece.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'd be on board with that. So I don't know what was going on there, but we find that information out. All right, so now we find out Ben wants to buy the resort, and Zoe overhears them because she's nosy.
Right.
She showed back. She did. She heard. She kind of like walked in at the right time.
Good. That's good though. Nosiness.
All right.
That's good.
She's nosy, and he doesn't want Camp Snow to end. And he breaks it down. And now this gets complicated. He basically breaks down like the ownership of it. Mm-hmm. And there's like the partial ownership. He's got a yes and the other partial yes, but 10% of it are stonewalling him. He's not sure who owns the 10%. But except for some of us, anybody, except for the people who are reasonably intelligent who can figure out in 5 seconds who owns the 10% of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, but I don't want to give it away.
Yeah. This movie did go down a bit of a rabbit hole in like ownership stakes.
Yeah, we didn't need to know all that. So then Zoe runs into Kara. What did I write here? Oh, and what did I write? And can keep and what is this now? Oh yeah. She brings up their family's secretive nature. Because once again, there's secrets and then Kara shames. Oh no! Then she shames Kara because excuse me, something was in my throat. A frog was in my throat, and then she shames her by saying, our family's like this because after her mother got sick, and then Kara's horrified and she's, I'm so sorry.
She was protecting them.
Yeah. Now, Kara and Megan are together. Now, Megan says coins, not a phrase, but she says something about massage o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear that? I never heard of massage. You've heard that before?
I say that about other things, like it's alcohol's o'clock.
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
Drink 30.
Yeah.
Man. Listen, this pandemic has got to end. I have to get out in the world again because I'm not aware of any language anymore.
Yeah, because it's drink 30 somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
It's drink o'clock. And I'm missing out. I just had some water. All right, so Kara is suspicious. I don't know what she was suspicious of. I just have my note. She's suspicious. Oh, she's suspicious because she was in the elevator and heard these kids talking. She loves to eavesdrop on children. And they said the Camp Snow ended yesterday.
Which that's a pretty cool camp if those kids got to stay in that hotel.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
So Camp Snow ended, and Ben is still out there pretending he's working for Camp Snow. So that's suspicious. So now Kara and her dad are walking through the snow, which is completely dug out. There's a path for them, which I guess that's okay. And they're looking for the cabin, the old cabin that belonged to these people, the owners years ago. They can't find it, but they find a bench with initials on it. So that's exciting. and then
it was the initials of Max and Clara, his wife.
Okay. And then Megan's mom and Kara wearing robes, and Kara is she'll be happy when the wedding is over, she says.
Right.
And then Kara's mom says, listen, if you think the worst of people, sometimes they will live up to it. But if you believe the best, you often get the best.
That's what Michelle said.
Yeah.
That's what she said. I don't know. I'm not so sure. So
That's
just
true.
because I don't know about that. If you think the worst of people,
assholes.
yeah. If you think the worst of people, I thought that's why I thought this was worth it doing a word by word quote here. If you think the worst of people, sometimes they will live up to it. Okay. I don't know. So you're kind of wishing on somebody, or you think it's going to happen? I don't know about that.
It is a weird thing. Like I think we as a humanity, we do this. We project the worst, and then when we get it, we're like, nah, confirmation bias. It happened.
Okay.
I thought it was a nice talk with Megan's mom.
Yeah, it's all right. I did like Megan's mom.
Because, Kara doesn't have a mother figure because
I see dead people.
So Megan's
Right.
mom has
True.
been around for her for a long time.
Yeah. All right. So now they're eating brats, right? Brats.
Brats.
The couple are eating brats. And he says, for some stupid reason, Ben says to Kara, he says, I feel I can tell you anything. Well, that's going to get you in a heap of trouble because there's all kinds of stuff you're not telling her. So why are you saying that?
Also, I would hope that you feel like you can tell your wife to be anything.
Right.
Well, apparently not. So don't dig a ditch. You've already dug a ditch. Don't say that. So, you told me, you said you could tell me anything. Oh yeah, I shouldn't have said that. That was the biggest mistake. So we give out relationship advice on the show. Then the two ladies, Megan's very busy. Kara keeps trying to pull Megan out of her work, and she's walking backwards, which is very dangerous. You shouldn't walk backwards. And she steps on a pine cone.
And Megan looked like she was going to lose her shit.
They treated the destruction of this gold-covered pine cone as if that somebody just killed a baby. Like the look on Megan's face, it was so absurd. I laughed out loud because the reaction was so out of whack with what just happened.
And you could tell that Kara, since they grew up together, you could tell Kara knew she was about to lose her shit. And Kara was like, okay, let's just go. Let's go. Let's just go now. We'll go find one.
It was like that alternate scene in Titanic. I don't know if you guys have seen that, where it's like the old woman's about ready to throw the Hope Diamond in the water, and like Bill Paxton and everybody runs to her, tries to stop. Like, don't do it. Don't destroy it.
Did they let her throw it in, or did they take it?
I think so, yeah. I think Bill Paxton got to hold it for a little bit, and then they gave it to her. She threw it in anyway. So yeah, it had that kind of gravity, I guess I'm trying to say. So there you go. A reference to an outtake. So now we're outside where they're looking for more pine cones. They can't find a pine cone on the ground. That doesn't exist. So Kara boosts up Megan. They fall on their ass and we all laugh and laugh. Now
the pine cone falls.
Yeah, I think they fall down. Now Ben and Kara, they're having chocolate fondue.
Ooh.
Zoe has the dresses. She has the dresses, and she calls them. I have here. I wrote down choice. There's a choice.
Oh, so Zoe has seen the dresses at this point, and
Right.
I don't think she was trying to shade the dress picks because the colors are mixed up. But I think she was kind of questioning, like, this doesn't seem like a wedding dress, and this doesn't seem like a bridesmaid's dress, but you do you. But let me send you pics, and she's trying to send them photos of what the dresses now look like, because Zoe still doesn't know that they're mixed up. She just thinks it looks unusual for what they would like. So she sends him a whole trove of pics, which Megan does not see.
Because her phone fell into the couch.
And because Kara is insisting on pulling Megan away from being type A. Hey, we're going to go have a drink, because they're trying to grab Megan so that Sean can propose to her over Zoom. And so Megan doesn't know. So they're just like, let's go.
Mm-hmm. Shouldn't try to change people. Maybe that's her problem. She's trying to change people. Don't try to change Ben. He's going to be secretive. It's never going to stop. Don't try to change your friend into what you want. Stop trying to mold people.
Yeah.
But then the proposal turned out to be a bust because Sean was trying to warn them that the ring actually hadn't made it yet, but they jumped the gun.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, Sean shows up. He's online again, but instead of a wedding ring, it's cufflinks.
Yes.
So that happens. So that's a disaster. So that's what happens next. But then we're at the Daniel the Lodge guy is hanging a letter. Kara reads it. Goldie stands behind her and reads it as well. What was this? So it's an old. They think it's an old letter. That's the people from years ago. They separated. Is that what it was? That's what she thinks it is.
They based the way the letter. I don't remember exactly what the letter said, but if it's from this couple, the letter makes it sound like the wife is the one that strayed. The wife is the one that ended things and moved on.
Right.
Okay. Oh man, the wife moved on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and there's there's a stark black and white picture of the guy, and it's just he's had his head turned. Who would take a picture of something like that? Anyway,
back then they couldn't preview. Yeah. They didn't have digital cameras back then, so it might have been the only photo they got.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, Ansel Adams is there on the scene. So anyway, Kara talks to Megan. And then Ray the dad stops by. His name's Ray. That's the dad. Ray the dad. So okay. So he had her dress cleaned. I don't know what that is.
Her mom.
The mom's wedding dress.
So the mom's dress. And once again, she's like, he's secretive. He's secretive. So the dad says, "Listen, I'm a private investigator. I'm a detective, and I trust this guy. Ben, my instincts are good." Then the dad explains. He says, "Look, when we went on our honeymoon, I had this big swimming event, for your mom. Turns out your mom couldn't swim. Now I think that's how she died. I think it was like an action park situation. She drowned in the water." So that's not good. So now the next part. Okay, so now Ben and Kara, they're getting ready for trivia. I'm grateful for the pandemic because it prevents me from ever going to a trivia event like this.
This is a thing we see a lot in these Hallmark movies, is right before the wedding they have a trivia thing. Is that a thing that couples are actually doing right now?
I hate it.
Is it?
Yeah,
Because it looks lame.
I don't want to ever do this. Oh, universe, please don't torture me. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, so if you want to get in at least the good graces of me and Les, don't ever show us Brokeback Mountain or Call Me by Your Name or take us to a trivia night before a wedding. And Kurt
don't.
as well with the trivia night.
I'm just focus on the trivia. I'm going all in.
Just take Kurt to get cake.
Yeah, I'll take cake. I don't know about this trivia thing, and I don't even know why I'm so adverse. I have so many issues with it, but every time I see it, it turns me off. It just turns me off. So anyway, so here we go. So what happens? So there we go. So stops by. We're gonna get trivia. This is where he goes into the bathroom to change his shirt because he has to put on a trivia shirt. Oh boy. Okay. So anyway, so now Zoe's back with the dress. And there's a couple of guys who are wearing these team groom shirts. We see them once. Mm-hmm. This is when we see them.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where they came from. I don't know where they went.
It's funny because before they showed these extras as being part of the groom's, this side of the wedding, I was thinking like all of these women are there for Kara, but besides his sister, who's there for Ben? Nobody. Sean's not there.
There's a couple dudes and we see him for like a fleeting second. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I wrote, who are they?
Because his parents aren't there.
Right.
No.
Because he justified that his mom's in Australia, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't blame her. So now there's something about a mailbox that's inactive. Aldera Creek or something. Aldera.
Oh,
that's who owned the other 10%. That was the 10% stake. Is this company called Aldera Creek, and Kara is grilling Kurt's favorite person, Daniel, about Aldera Creek.
I don't mind him.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I still see junk mail from them coming here," and so Kara snaps a pic of the junk mail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which should be illegal.
And by the way, we discovered that the date on the letters were wrong because she thought it was 1948, but it turned out to be 1978.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And the letter, by the way, is both addressed and signed with only a single letter initial, not signed with full names, and not even first and last initial, just an initial.
Right.
Okay. All right. So trivia night happens. I can just let you know for those keeping score, Team Bride wins. That's all we
12
need to
to 10.
And she knows nothing about Ben. He used to have frosted tips. And he got Kara's thing wrong. They don't know each other.
Well, the groom's not going to win that one because all the guys that are there for the groom have literally just met her on that day on set because they were hired as extras.
Right. Yes, exactly. Nobody knows anything. So then she confronts Ben about why you're such a liar. What's the problem here? Why are you lying about snow camp? I found out what's going on. So he explains himself.
You idiot! I'm buying you a hotel, idiot.
I found out you're a big liar. So yeah, that's right. So they go through that. He explains himself. She tells him about that junk mail we just talked about. Then the couple figure it out. They say, look at the junk mail. It's junk mail from like some music publishing company. So it's obviously Goldie who owns the 10%. So they confront her. It's her. And Ben is ready. He makes his pitch. He says, look, I want to do this. I got the snow park. And
it turns
out. God knows if he's telling the truth. The guy's a liar.
It turns out that Goldie's the people who owned it daughter. She's the daughter.
I want to know why Goldie only owned 10%.
Maybe she sold the rest of it for like shares for money.
Maybe she's visiting Camp Snow with Daniel.
Maybe she kept part of it so they could keep her on as a piano player.
Yeah,
that's good. Create your own job. Now, Kara. What's her name?
Kara.
Kara is sewing. She's sewing a piece of her mom's dress. I don't know into what. She doesn't have the other dress.
So the reason the dad brought the mom's dress is so that Kara could take part of it and sew it into her new dress. Like that's the thing that sometimes brides will do. So the dad brought it for that. And so Kara right now is just taking a piece out of her mom's dress so that she can put it in her dress when it arrives.
Oh, okay. You sew it like and just you sew it. Does it become like that Dolly Parton song where it's like that?
The coat of many colors.
It's not a quilt. It's literally just like it's more sentimental than anything. You want a piece of your mom with you, so you put a piece of the dress inside your dress.
Okay. I was thinking Islands of the Storm. What's that song?
Islands of the Stream.
Yeah. Oh, well. So then the next morning, they all wake up and there's lots of snow. No, Daniel, not that kind of snow. Oh! So, yeah, he got excited. Lots of snow? No, it's a freak snow. This is a freak snow, like super freak. And then they're like, hey, there's certain things, look, we have to have the wedding today. The snow is going to delay. And they say that there's not going to be any cake. Now, that's the part I got upset because you guys said you cried during the movie. I almost cried. I thought there's not going to be any snow coming.
Who had the bigger reaction? Megan when Kara stepped on the pine cone, or you when you found out that there was not going to be a wedding cake?
That's disturbing. But they did have cake. They scrounged up some cake.
Yeah.
There also was going to be a DJ. Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff. They said that they can't be a DJ. That's all right. They got Megan's mom to be the DJ. And then they had lots of pre-wedding.
A DJ crap. And wedding officiant.
He's the DJ. I'm the rapper.
Yeah.
And then Ben and Kara. Wait, Ben and Kara's dad. They don't have the same dad. Oh. No, yeah. Kara's dad comes to see Ben.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you promise to do right by my little girl? What is that? That's kind of cryptic. I mean, obviously, you're going to say yes.
Well, I mean, if this were a Lifetime movie, that would be a veiled threat.
Yes.
Do you promise to do right by my little girl? I'd be like, well, I don't understand the question, so I can't answer that.
Yeah, be more specific. In regards to making sure she gets cake at this wedding, I'm working on it, dude.
That's the way I'd answer that. I'd say, well, look, I don't really know what you're asking, so I'm just going to say no. Because I don't really know what you're talking about.
Kurt, you would be like, I only view things through the lens of, will there be cake?
Yeah, is there going to be cake? Do you promise to do right by my cake? Now, okay, so here comes the wrong dresses. Zoe shows up. She's got the wrong dresses. She's a disaster as an intern. She's fired from a job that she doesn't get paid. So that happens.
Their reaction to the wrong wedding dress and bridesmaid's dress was smaller than the reaction to a broken pine cone.
Yes.
That's right. Now Ben's got Sean as his virtual best man, which I thought he was using Zoe as the best woman.
Well, she fucked up the dresses.
Woman and the best man.
She fucked up the dresses, so that's
she's
like you're fired.
Yeah,
she's out. All right, that's understandable. Now we see the wedding room. Everyone is there. And And now she shows up. She's wearing her mom's dress. Maybe she should have just done it to begin with, because it's, it's a perfect fit.
So they right before that they had said, "Oh wait, we do have a dress," or they said, I forget how they worded it, but when they said that, I then went to the title of this movie, which is called One Perfect Wedding, and the fact that they had actually technically made a wedding dress for Megan and a bridesmaid's dress for Cara, and the fact that like Sean has been trying to like do this proposal with Megan. For a second, I was like, oh, is there going to be a twist and actually Megan's the one that gets married in this movie?
That would have been good.
Oh. Yeah. So okay. So she's wearing a mom's dress.
Did not happen that way, by the way.
Dad cries. What's that?
I said it did not happen that way, by the way.
No. Now, is this where you guys cried? You guys said you cried. Did you cry when she walked in with the wedding dress on?
I cried. I cried at that scene with Ben and Kara's dad. I definitely cried in that scene, and I cried. I don't know if I cried when Sean proposed. There was one other time I cried. It might have just been like Ben and Kara actually getting married, or one of the toasts, or it was something stupid like that.
Okay. How about you, Les? Was that the same thing?
It's coming up.
Oh, it's coming up. Okay, we'll get there. All right, so now the actual wedding, and so it's happening. They're dancing with sparklers, which could potentially burn the place down.
They were playing Calvin Harris. They licensed a Calvin Harris song for this movie.
Michelle,
I know. That feels
Michelle
so
was on it.
Yeah. I feel so close to you right now. That song, yeah. Spent some money on that. So
I like that they showed Michelle, the mom, with like the headphones on, like DJ.
Yeah. She
was doing her thing, yeah. The cakes look pretty good. They put together a cake. I think Zoe put that together, so
yes,
good on that. Of course, Megan catches the bouquet. Of course, a couple dances. We find out that Sean used to call Ben his secret squirrel because the cufflinks had a secret squirrel in it. I don't know how Sean knew he was keeping secrets, but I guess he figured it out. So now it's the morning, and I guess they did it. They did the deed. They're wearing robes.
They're smiling.
Yes, things happened. Activity. And then the agent, Cara is reading the agent the book that she just seems to remember. Because she wasn't even reading it, wasn't she?
She's reading her pitch to her.
She was doing what?
She's reading her pitch of the new book.
Oh, yes. Okay.
She just had notes that she's referring to.
Okay. The agent likes it. And
which, by the way, could have been handled in an email.
Yeah. Okay, so Daniel brings a box, and it's the box has the ring from Sean. Now Megan is reading Cara's book, which we saw in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Bookended. And Cara, and she's surprised because Cara comes in and wants to spend time with Megan, and Megan's like, well, it's your honeymoon. Cara wants to spend time with everyone. Now, I agree with Cara on this because she decided to have this wedding event, this wedding thing, getaway where all our friends are there. Mm-hmm. I think she should spend time with those other people.
Yeah, if you're doing a destination wedding, the whole point is to be on vacation with a bunch of your loved ones.
Right.
So we see eye to eye on that. Cara and I. Now it's time for snowboarding. We find out that now Goldie is going to sell the lodge, sell it 10%, and then so the two ladies go up in the snowboarding top of the mountain. And we see that her mom and Ben are there, and they've got what is it called? What's it? I don't know what the word for that, but there's like some kind of it's like a hoop.
Yeah, not an awning. It's an arch, kind of.
Yeah, like an arch. Yeah. And Sean FaceTimes in, or however he does it, uses Skype or Zoom, whatever the kids are using these days, gives a lovely speech. It wasn't good. I wasn't emotional during this. This must have been your emotional moment, Les, but yes, I did think it was.
Yeah,
I did think it was very sweet.
That was it.
It's well done.
Aw.
And it was actually nice to be able to elicit an emotional response from the audience watching at home when Sean's like doing his proposal over Zoom. He's not even there, but it's so heartfelt, and the way they filmed it, the way they framed it, it was actually really well done.
Yeah. No, I thought that was a well done scene. I think perhaps things will work out well for these kids.
Well, maybe we'll get one winter baby.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we shouldn't. Although they haven't had a baby movie, have
So
they?
like Megan and Sean should like get married now.
Right. Oh, that's true. And he was
there we go.
overseas.
Yeah.
Like he was overseas. Oh, and then another thing, which you could tell that they're changing because Megan was like, well, I can move where you are and work remotely. So she didn't have to give up her job. She was just going to work remotely online.
Right.
No one has to move anywhere these days.
I can't wait till the next movie in the series with this certainly newly expanded worldview of Hallmark, where they do one winter key party.
Wait, there you go.
That's awesome. I definitely want to watch that. That one I'd remember.
But yeah, this is good. This was a good movie. This was a good movie.
I agree.
We were due for a good Hallmark movie.
It was all right. You guys liked it more than I did.
Yeah, probably.
Had its moments.
Well, anywho.
But I like to call me by your name. You guys didn't like that.
Oh,
Fuck
no.
him.
I can see the age disparage. I guess that's a little
That was
strange.
creepy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like it's
But
already
you ever seen the movie-
it's already a somewhat borderline questionable plot point about the book, and then in casting where it's visually more stark, made it seem even more inappropriate.
Because and the thing is, if they would have picked an age appropriate actor, it would not have looked bad.
Right. It would seem like, oh, they're a little closer in age, like, maybe they really are in love, and maybe age is just a number. But like when he's, looks like he's almost 20 years older and this kid is playing an actual kid, or this guy is playing an actual kid, it felt uncomfortable to me as a viewer.
Yeah.
Okay. I was creeped out by, I wanted to confirm the title. There's a movie called An Education with Carey Mulligan and Peter Sarsgaard. I didn't like that because the age difference was weird in that.
But she made up for it in Promising Young Woman. That was her revenge.
She's in that, yeah. That's great. I like that movie a lot.
Anywho, if you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Facebook at Kirkendall Barrett Presentations, or you can find me at my website, Les Kirkendall Barrett. Jason.
So we say this all the time, but we love to keep banging the drum that we would love if everyone left a 5-star review on whatever podcasting platform you're listening on, because it is a way for us to rank a little bit higher for more people to find the show.
Yes.
We're going to be trying out some things to hopefully find audience in different ways, so that'll help as well. You can find all of us on Instagram at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
Just kurtfitzpatrick.com, Kurt with a K. You can just see old stuff I've done. I have nothing else going on, but the future's so bright, I got to wear shades.
That's Timbuk 3.
That's
And
right.
check out my other podcasts. I have a podcast called The Reality Reading Rainbow, where I talk about books written by reality stars, and I also interview people as well. And I also have a podcast about soap operas called Less Love Soaps. So check either one of them out. Anything else?
I don't think so.
I got nothing.
All right, I'm hungry. So so until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.